My dear friends, actually Passover, Pesach, is an everyday celebration. Pesach is a lovely and inspiring festival to which everyone looks forward with pleasurable anticipation. To be sure, there is a great deal of preparation to be done. But when you expect a very special visitor, you don't mind the work. After the visitor is gone, it is not the memory of the work that lingers on, but the memory of the visitor's company, which had brought so much joy. And so, Pesach comes and goes every year. It is a very special festival, for it is the first festival which the Jewish people celebrated. It is the festival which is connected with the birth of our people as a free people. It is the anniversary of the liberation of our people from bondage in Egypt in order to receive the Torah at Mount Sinai. It is Man Cherusenu, the festival of our liberation. So important is this festival that the Torah makes it our duty to remember it every day. That thou shalt remember the day of thy departure from Egypt, all the days of thy life. This is the basis for the mitzvah of including the third portion of the Shema, in which mention is made of the liberation from Egypt when we recite the Shema in the morning and at night. The liberation from Egypt is one of the 6 remembrances which we are commanded to remember every day. It should also be noted that the Torah states, thou shalt remember, and thy departure from Egypt. That is to say, the Torah speaks to every one of us individually. The Haggadah of Pesach makes it even clearer, for it says, in every generation, a Jew must consider himself as if he personally came out of Egypt. Remembering is not a purpose in itself. We do not remember for the sake of remembering. The purpose of remembering is that it should bring some practical benefit to us and others in our daily life. Therefore, our daily remembrance of the liberation from Egypt has to inspire us with the same ideas and actions as the festival of Pesach does. The daily remembrance should also include the basic elements of the festival of Pesach, including the very important Bedikas Chametz, search for the Chametz, and Bir Chametz, destruction of the Chametz. How can we celebrate Pesach every day of the year? How can we have Bedikas and Bir Chametz? How can we experience the joy of freedom, which we feel at the Seder all year round? These questions have been answered by our wise teachers and rabbis. Here are some of their explanations. Chametz ordinarily means leaven or yeast. It is a substance that bakers put in dough to make it rise. On Pesach, it is strictly forbidden to eat anything which contains leaven or the slightest admixture of leaven. Jewish law is as strict about this as about eating on Yom Kippur, God forbid. Matzah is baked in such a way that the dough is not given a chance to rise. The flour, which had been carefully kept dry since the milling, is mixed with cold water. The dough is not allowed to stand idle for a moment. It is quickly rolled out into thin, flat patty, briskly cut into round or square cakes, riddled with tiny holes, and placed immediately into a hot baking oven. The utensils used in matzah baking are frequently scrubbed and cleansed to make sure that not a spot of dough clings to them for any length of time. The result is matzah, free from any leaven whatever. The reason for eating matzah on Pesach, the Torah tells us, is to remind us of the unleavened bread which our ancestors ate when they left Egypt in great haste, having no time to bake ordinary bread. In a deeper sense, chametz is the symbol of puffed up pride and haughtiness, while matzah is the symbol of humility. Pesach teaches us a profound lesson. Even in moments of triumph and success, we must feel a deep sense of humility, recognizing that we owe everything to God. Humility is the greatest virtue, without which there can be no true worship of God. By the same token, haughtiness, arrogance, a sense of self-importance and the like are the ingredients of evil and sin. Our sages very aptly called the Yetzer Hara, the evil inclination, the chametz of human nature. The Yetzer Hara causes the fermentation and uprising of lower instincts. And unless a person is careful to hold them in check, we will soon become a slave to bad habits and nasty character traits. Therefore, it is good practice, bedikas chametz, every day, which really means taking time out for a little self-searching to see if any chametz has clung to our nature. The bedikas chametz must lead to bir chametz, to rid ourselves of any vestige of evil in our nature. Ordinarily, when we speak of the liberation from Egypt, we mean the actual liberation from slavery, which our forefathers lived in Egypt for hundreds of years before God liberated us by means of wonderful miracles. In a deeper sense, the worst kind of slavery is to be slave to one's own nature and habits. And we do not mean only bad habits, which is self-understood. For even a good habit is a form of slavery. The moment it becomes so fixed as to paralyze further improvement and advancement. For we are expected to rise ever higher and higher in all matters of goodness and holiness, in accordance with the principle, all matters of holiness should be on the ascendancy, Ma'alin Bakodesh. There is a Hasidic saying, if good is good, isn't better better? And there is that popular jingle, which is easy to remember. Good, better, best. Never let it rest. Till your good is better, and your better, best. The best time for searching the chametz and getting rid of the chametz day after day throughout the year is during prayer. When we stand in prayer before God with humility and purity of heart and mind, all the chametz in our nature is thrown out. During prayer 3 times daily, our soul is liberated from the shackles of the body and the bodily instincts. Our heavenly soul is then united with its Creator. This is when we experience true freedom. It is up to us to see to it that we retain this freedom not only during the 3 daily prayers, but also during the time in between. This is how we can experience Siman Cherusenu, not only during Pesach, but throughout the year and every day of the year.